Okay guys, today I'm going to show you how to fix this. Now, several of these bricks were busted from people backing up into it. Oh, I think I covered it up, but you can see the paint from vehicles, different colored bumpers where they backed up into it. So we're going to repair that. Here you go. Here you go. See that car paint from their bumper where they backed up into it? One thing is you should never ever paint bricks. And I don't know what kind of cement covering this was, but it was like a recap or something. Anyways, we're going to use polymerized high strength concrete to repair this. My one big issue was somebody said they were going to fix it, and all they did was they sprayed spray paint, the yellow spray paint over it. They thought they'd cover it up just by spray painting it, and as you can tell, we have this mold here that's coming, and you can see it's cracked up there and it's coming here, and when it's wet you can see the mold the way it's coming down out of here, and that's also contributing to this. The other big issue is what's underneath of here, which I believe is just dirt, and that's what's holding moisture for it to crack. It's worse than I thought. We've got a lot more loose wet sand up in there than I thought, so I'm taking a brick tool, and up under here we got a lot of loose stuff that it's got to come out. See, you can't bond loose stuff, so I'm trying to work this all out. Then we're going to put a 2x4 right like that is my plan. That's my plan. But it's so damp. It was foggy this morning. I don't know if I'll be able to do this today or not. I don't know if it's going to dry out in time. Okay guys, here's what we're going to attempt. I have tried to get this paint off there. Somebody spray painted it I don't know how well the concrete's going to stick to it, but so that's what we're going to attempt to do. We're just waiting for it to dry after I decided to power wash it again because there was some loose. But when you mix up concrete, you only have a bucket life of 15-20 minutes before it's hard, so there's no sense in making a real big area. So we'll just do like that amount, then we'll move it over to there. What we're using is structural polymer modified QUIKRETE high tensile concrete. And we're just going to mix it in a 5-gallon bucket. Don't mix any more than you need because, like I said, this thing's got a bucket life of, it sets up in 20 minutes and you have to stir it for 3. And as hot as it is, we really should be putting ice water in it. Okay, this is the finished product. This was done in 4 batches because remember, you only have 10-15 minutes of bucket life. I did from here to like here in 1 batch, and this was pretty deep. So that was 3 batches. You don't want to mix up any more than you're going to use. And you want to mix it to the consistency of peanut butter, and this is the kind of trowel that I use, and this allows you to get in there and push it in there. With this type of material, you want to really push it in there so it pushes out any air bubbles and gets it good. And then once I had the finish I wanted, since it had a broom finish, I came back with a paintbrush, gave it that broom finish. I know it's, thank you. I know it's nighttime. I did this right at dark, but I'm not worried about setting up in time because this stuff will actually get hot and it sets up in 10 minutes. And by morning, this is the first, I'm gonna give it a couple days to cure out really good, and then we'll paint it with the orange or the yellow paint, and you'll never know it was patched. So there was no nailing or anything, that was just press fit up there. And then we're going to paint the bottom gray. I did this. I'll show an after I paint it with the yellow. and you'll see that it blends right in. But the tool you use to both mix the concrete and apply it is this one. You can buy it anywhere. This was done in, this would be 1 batch, 2 batch, 3 batches, and then I made a really light runny skim coat, and you can tell a difference in the colors, how fast the skim coat. And I had put a skim coat right here too, but see the color difference between there and the normal mixture. You want to mix it to where it's like peanut butter, because you're applying it on a vertical surface, so it's got to be, you can't be runny or it's just going to run off. It's hard enough to keep it up there as it is. Remember, you can always add more water when you're mixing it, but you can't take any away. If you make it too runny and you run out, you're in trouble. So I couldn't actually film it while I was doing it. I can't hold a phone and film it while I was doing it at the same time. But then when it's all done and it starts to set up, remember, it only has a bucket life of like 15 minutes. One of the issues I was running into is 90 some degrees, so it's probably setting up in 10 minutes. It tells you to add cold water when it's hot like that. But I took a chip brush right here, and to give it that broom finish, coming down like this, because the rest was all broomed. The original was broomed, so if I didn't broom it, it was going to have a really smooth appearance. We're going to knock out the 2x4s now, and you need to lay something down the concrete when you're doing this to so you don't want to force it, you want to let it fall on its own. I'll do one more video, and to ensure it didn't stick really bad, I put masking tape on top of the 2x4s. I put masking tape. That's what you see on this lip right here. That way I get a clean release. And again, this is what I used, Polymer modified structural repair. So it says it has a bucket life of 20 to 45 minutes. That is not true in this temperature, but it's got a PSI of 2,500 in 3 hours, and then 5,500 in 7 days. Let's see right here, mold, sculpt, and shape to match surrounding contour. It's good stuff. This is this morning when I get here. This 2x4, I couldn't get it to, I didn't want to force it loose. And this morning I see that it just dropped off. Okay, but the reason I'm filming this morning is I wanted you to see the difference in the color. This was mixed too light or too runny, but I did it as a skim coat. And this dark area was mixed at the correct consistency. But see the color difference between the two? So what I'm trying to say is, when you mix this and it dries, it needs to be that color. If it's not that color, it was too thin, and it's not going to be as structural. It's not going to be as strong as this skim coat here. Doesn't really have that much strength to it. And if you read the instructions, it'll tell you that's like 3,000 PSI, and that's 5,000. Guys, here you go. Looks so much better. I am a little concerned. I should have done better finishing. There's a couple spots, one right there. I didn't want to mix up any more, but there's another one right there. Now we're gonna do the bottom and fix the bottom up and paint it.